If you take nothing else away from this video, take this away. What happened between events in the play or the film? What happened? Even just what were you thinking as the character? What was going on with you? How did your body feel? What were you obsessed with? What did you want in your body? Did you want to go to get drunk? Did you want to go get laid? Did you want a good meal? Did you want to just kill people? Did you want to drop out? Or do you want to die yourself? What? What? Find it. Don't decide. Do not decide, because you don't know. The decision's out of your head, not out of your experience. You got to experience the process. The process is everything. It's everything. And actually, to me, it's the most enjoyable part of being an actor. It's the high. It's the artist exploring. A big turning point in the film, and particularly for Michael's character, is after his father gets shot on the street. He's with Kay, and they're Christmas shopping, and he gets the news. And he goes to the hospital where his father is. He doesn't let Kay come with him because he senses something. He senses danger in the situation, of course. Even just going to the hospital to visit his father, who's in a coma. And so he doesn't let Kay come with him, which she's rather hurt by.
Can I go with you?
Okay, there's gonna be detectives there, people from the press.
Well, I'll ride in a cab.
I don't want you to get involved.
When will I see you again?
Go back to New Hampshire, and I'll call you at your parents' house.
When will I see you again, Michael?
I don't know.
But he's doing it for her protection, and I think because he's about to become involved more with the family through this tragedy. And his instinct tells him to not allow her to come. He goes to the hospital and he notices that all of the Corleone guards are not there. In fact, it's in the middle of the night, nobody's there. It's an old rundown hospital. It's not like you think of a hospital today. It's dingy. The hallways need paint. It's dilapidated. It was a New York hospital of the time, of the era, post-war. And he goes to his father's room. Well, he calls up his family. He calls up Sonny, his brother, and tells him there's no guards there. He doesn't know why, but he finds out that the cops had come and kicked them all out. And there's a rather bossy nurse who's the only one he could find, who he tells her, he takes command very clearly, like an army captain. Suddenly he's quite changed, and persuades her to help him move his father to another room.
That's out of the question.
You know my father. Men are coming here to kill him. You understand? Now help me, please.
Because if there's hitmen coming to kill his father, they'll go to the wrong room then. And they do it, and they do it quickly, and they do it rather well, considering the situation. Because Michael Pacino is calm in action. He's relaxed, like a warrior would be executing a bit of a difficult assignment that's dangerous. And they manage to get his father into another room, and then they hear footsteps coming down the hall, a single set of footsteps. And it turns out to be not a hitman from another family, but rather a baker named Enzo, who paid his respects to the Godfather at the wedding and wanted to pay his respects to his godfather in the hospital. And he has a bouquet of flowers and so forth. He's just a baker.
Who are you? I am Enzo, the baker. Do you remember me?
Enzo.
Yes, Enzo.
You better get out of here, Enzo. There's going to be trouble.
If there is trouble, I stay here to help you. For your father, for your father.
All right. Listen. Wait for me outside in front of the hospital. All right? I'll be out in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay.
And says to the baker, put your hand in your pocket like you have a gun. It's the middle of the night. It's cold. They have overcoats and hats. And the guy does it. He's nervous about it, but he does it. And Pacino stands next to him with his hand in his pocket. And sure enough, a car drives up with a bunch of hitmen in it. They see the two guys who look like they have guns, Enzo and Michael, and they keep driving. They drive on again. And it's rather funny. The baker, Pacino, slaps him on the shoulder like, good job. The baker is nervous as hell. He's shaking. He tries to light a cigarette, but his hand is shaking so much. And Pacino takes the lighter and lights it for him very calmly. And it says a lot. It says an enormous amount. And obviously the whole scene was strategized by Coppola, but again, the process between Coppola and Pacino is mysterious to us. We don't know how much is Coppola and how much is Pacino. It's both of them, actually. And that's extraordinarily important, particularly in film acting, that you have, if you have a good director, hopefully, that this collaboration has that kind of depth to it. Because it's a little bit funny, the scene. It's a huge relief that the hitmen drive on. And Pacino executed it beautifully. But you start to realize something. Not that he was at all incompetent before that, but he was a young guy who wasn't quite sure what to do with his life and was trying to reassert himself into American life after the war. But now you see the army captain. Now you see the war hero. A guy who can operate under pressure and operate very well. And even be relaxed about it to some extent. Extraordinarily intense, but relaxed. Which actually is how an actor needs to be as well. Extraordinarily relaxed so any impulse can be expressed from any part of the body or the being or the spirit or the voice. Your whole being, your whole instrument. And also the intensity of focus of how does one thing lead into the next moment, into the next moment, into the next moment. And all of that was extremely organic. And sensory, too, because there's a lot of elements going on. It's cold. You have a certain amount of fear, but like a great warrior, it's not that you don't feel the fear, it's that you know how to deal with it, and you know how to operate and let it actually make you a better warrior, and not do stupid things out of a false sense of heroism, but rather what is really actually going to work, what's actually going to help you achieve your objective in the battle. And that's exactly what he does. And so you say, oh, this guy actually could be good at lots of things in life, and being a mafia boss might be one of them. You don't think that out loud so much to yourself, but it's underneath. You're getting it. You're starting to get who this guy is. And this change is so interesting in the film because it's not brought about by some guy moodily walking back and forth, looking out the window at the sea or some, quasi-poetic image like that. It's done through circumstances in his life. His father's been shot. His father, who needs to be guarded, is not guarded. He sees this and he immediately takes action, not because he's some moody, thoughtful person who's going to change his life, but because he has to in order to have the survival of his father and even himself in that situation. He takes action. This is extraordinarily important in the way the film is structured because the film is saying in a lot of ways throughout all the films of The Godfather, even Part 3, which is a pretty bad film, but definitely Parts 1 and 2, that to a certain extent Michael was dragged into this situation of becoming the mafia boss. And this is how he gets dragged into it, through action he actually has to take for survival reasons, for the love of his family, for the love of his father. And that brings him a little closer to becoming a mafia guy himself. This continues on then to the discussion of the leaders of the Corleone family, which are his brother Sonny, great performance by James Caan, the fat guy Clemenza, well, they're all great performers. Tessio, Tom Hagen, his foster brother and the family consigliere or advisor. And they're arguing about how to deal with the situation of the bad guy named Salazzo, the drug lord, who is the one who had Vito Corleone shot in the first place. And Tom Hagen argues for a bit of trying to have a conciliation, because basically the plot device is that Vito Corleone does not want his mafia family to deal in drugs. He thinks it's a dirty business. Prostitution, okay, gambling, okay, but not heroin. And Sonny disagrees, and because Salazzo heard Sonny be interested in it, it's why actually he tried to kill Vito Corleone in order to have, because then Sonny would be the Godfather, the Don, and Salazzo could then try to deal with Sonny. What he didn't quite anticipate was that Sonny is so angry about having his father shot that he won't deal with Salazzo at all. He wants to kill Salazzo. And this is what Tom Hagen doesn't want to do, because it'll start a war with all the 5 families, because a lot of them back Salazzo. And so the two of them are arguing very loudly about this point, what to do about Salazzo. And Michael is just sitting there. You have to remember, he's not supposed to be yet at all, really, part of the criminal side of the family. But he's sitting in a big armchair, very quiet, through this argument between his brothers. And finally, he says he agrees with Sonny. Not for quite the same reasons. It's not out of a huge rage. It's out of practicality. He says the thing is that Salazzo's going to have our father killed. There's no doubt in his mind. Salazzo has to have his father killed. So, therefore, we have to kill Salazzo, and we have to kill the police captain that's protecting him. Who, by the way, the police captain had punched Pacino, Michael, in the face right after the hospital incident. At the hospital, actually, he came up with his cops and tried to get Michael to leave. Michael wouldn't leave, and he punched him in the face very hard. And then Tom Hagen's guys came up and saved the
Stand,
situation.
Is that while Sollozzo is being guarded like this, he is invulnerable. Now, nobody has ever gunned down a New York police captain, never. It would be disastrous. All the 5 families would come after you, Sonny. The Corleone family would be outcast. Even the old man's political protection would run for cover. So do me a favor. Take this into consideration.
All right, wait.
You can't wait. Can't wait. I don't care what Sollozzo says about a deal. He's gonna kill Pop. That's it. That's the key for him. Gotta get Sollozzo.
Mike is right.
Let me ask you something, Professor. I mean, what about this McCluskey? Huh? What do we do with this cop here?
They want to have a meeting with me, right? It will be me, Klusky, and Sollozzo. Let's set the meeting. Get our informers to find out where it's going to be held. Now, we insist it's a public place, a bar, a restaurant, someplace where there's people so I feel safe. You're gonna search me when I first meet them, right? So I can't have a weapon on me then. But if Clemenza can figure a way to have a weapon planted there for me, then I'll kill them both.
Hey, what are you gonna do? Nice college boy, huh? Didn't want to get mixed up in the family business?
Huh? Now you want to gun down a police captain, why? Because he slapped you in the face a little bit? Huh? What do you think, this is the army where you shoot him a mile away? You got to get him close like this. Bada bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit. Come here. Mwah! You're taking this very personal. Tom, this is business, and this man is taking it very, very personal.
Where does it say that you can't kill a cop?
Come on, Mikey.
Tom, wait a minute. I'm talking about a cop that's mixed up in drugs. I'm talking about a dishonest cop, a crooked cop who got mixed up in the rackets and got what was coming to him. That's a terrific story. We have newspaper people on the payroll, don't we, Tom? They might like a story like that.
They might. They just might.
It's not personal, Sonny. It's strictly business.
Even more than the hospital scene, you see another step in the direction of him becoming a powerful motherfucker. Right? You see it. You see, he has this determination, this calm determination to murder. Or you may call it justifiable retribution. I mean, they shot his father, okay. But still, it's in every muscle of his body. It's in the situation of all these real mafia guys around him, experienced mafia guys arguing about what to do, and you know, they're used to all the tough talk and kill the guy, blah, blah, blah. No, he's very, very focused, very clear about it. And this is, again, another very important step. He does it so well that, again, you don't notice in the front of your mind that Michael's changing so much, but he is. And when you see it a second or third time, you go, wow, how did he do that? It's in every muscle of his body. It's that he went through I'll tell you how. He went through the process, for instance, I don't know exactly how he did it, but for instance, when the guys came to the hospital and put the guards back and he could leave, what was it like in the car? Because he'd have a driver. He doesn't have to drive. He's just sitting there thinking about a lot of things. Okay, I sent Kay back to her family in Maine or Connecticut or somewhere. I don't have her with me. I'm with the family now all the time. I'm with these mafiosi people who are my family, and I love them, but they are criminals all the time. These motherfuckers shot my father. They will again until he's dead, just to get their heroin trade going in New York. All of these things are going around in his mind. A huge amount of anger to see his father in a coma in the hospital. All these things. And what he's going to do with his life. Is he saying to himself, okay, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to get these guys. I am going to get these guys. But I'm not going to become a mafiosi. I'm just going to get these guys. Or is he going, maybe the best way out of this is to take over the organization. Because both my brothers, for different reasons, Sonny and Fredo, are going to be incompetent as the Don, as the leader. Sonny, because he's too hot-headed. He flies off the handle. He's too emotional. He's reasonably smart. He knows, he's good at what he does, and he's a real tough guy. But he doesn't have the depth. He's flies off the handle too easily. Or Fredo, who's actually kind of a moron and has no sense of reality, really. So it has to be him. And it was clear he was the favorite son. He knew that. Everybody knew it. He was his father's favorite son. He also knows his father never wanted him to go into the family business. But what if, for instance, he's able to take over the family business, to run it, and to steer the family business towards being legitimate over a period of, say, 5 years. It could be done. He could get out of all the criminal activity and buy up other companies that are legitimate companies and get the right kind of expertise to make those companies work in a profitable way. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity. It's right after the war. Things need to be built up again. There's quite a bit going on in financially and economically. So it actually could be a good opportunity. All of these things are never mentioned in the film, but if I was playing the part, I would do a big, what I call an imagined experience, which is a kind of self-improvisation on being on that car driving back from the hospital on what to do next. Now, Pacino probably does something different than I do, no doubt. But it would be something in the same vein, that's achieving something of that same idea of what is the transition that the camera doesn't see. It's not in the script, but it's between scenes. So this is something, if you take nothing else away from this video, take this away. What happened between events in the play or the film? What happened? Even just what were you thinking as the character? What was going on with you? How did your body feel? What were you obsessed with? What did you want in your body? Did you want to go to get drunk? Did you want to go get laid? Did you want a good meal? Did you want to just kill people? Did you want to drop out? Or do you want to die yourself? What? Find it. Don't decide. Do not decide, because you don't know. A decision's out of your head, not out of your experience. You got to experience the process. The process is everything. It's everything. And actually, to me, it's the most enjoyable part of being an actor. It's the high. It's the artist exploring. I'm in the back of that car and I'm seeing things. I have images. I have sensations in my body. I have thoughts. I have, fuck those guys. No, relax. Think about it. Get strategic. And what is Sonny going to say? And what is Tom going to say? And who the fuck cares what they say? No, I got to convince them. I got to do this right. And I got to have, even though I'm the youngest, I got to somehow project my authority. How do I do that? How the fuck do I do that? And you find it in you. or you stumble around trying to find it in you. All of these things are what a really good actor does.
Ti senti meglio? Michael, tu mi capisci, no? Sei italiano come tuo padre? Tuo padre sta male. Quando tu sta meglio, il cambio ti fa un ognuno e mettiamo tutto a posto. Sti fissaria, si deve finire.